I thought I'd start this series off with the most important item in every Lolita's closet, a petticoat. You can either buy the perfect one or stack flatter ones, but a petticoat cannot be skipped as it gives Lolita the silhouette that makes it Lolita. So let's start with the basics. There are 3 kinds of petticoats: organza, tulle and hoop. I think the best might be organza, as it keeps its poofiness the longest, and they are quite nice against the skin. They can be a bit more expensive, but again you don't have to replace them as often. Tulle petticoats are the most common because they are the easiest to find. Almost every store has some kind of tulle petticoats, but you have to be prepared to layer and replace them because they can dye quite easily during use and washes, especially if it's very soft tulle. They are good for layering though, especially in the winter when all the extra layers are welcome to keep away the winter breeze. And then there are hoop petticoats. They are very handy with heavy fabrics like velvet or thick cotton blends because they don't deflate under the weight of the dress, unlike tulle or organza does. But they can be a bit awkward, especially in heavily crowded corridors like school or convention halls, because again they don't give in very much. And driving is almost impossible. Sitting can look awkward, but again during summer the hoop keeps the weight of your skirts away from your legs, so it's cooler, but in the winter you have to wear bloomers under it. And if the fabric of your skirt is very thin, you may have to wear an extra layer between your skirt and your hoop petticoat so the hoops don't show through. And then there are 2 common shapes. There is an A-line or bell or cupcake shape. And if I were to heavily generalize, the cupcake shape is mostly used in Sweet Lolita, and Classic Lolita uses A-line petticoats and they can use longer skirts, so they need longer petties. And Gothic can use both a full A-line skirt or the bell-shaped one. And these were, of course, very rough guidelines, but it gives you something to refer to. And now on to buying your petticoats. I always recommend Classical Puppets organza petticoats, because although they can be a bit pricey depending on the shape and the length, they can be from $40 to $60, but they are very poofy, they last long, and they are so poofy that you don't necessarily need any other petticoats to layer them with. I would show you mine, but a cat barfed on it, so it's kind of dead, but I will replace it very soon because again they are worth the money. You don't want to buy a petty from Bodyline unless you want a very flat one to layer with, because they're very soft tulle and they dye very quickly. I bought one and I regretted it instantly. And if you want to buy one from eBay, be very careful and don't go for the 30 centimeter long 2 or 3 layered ones, because you'll have to buy 5 or 6 of them to get any kind of poof. So instead you want to go for a 40 or 50 centimeter long ones and one with at least 5 or 6 layers, so you don't have to layer it as much. You probably will, at least a little bit, but you can at least get some use out of it. And there are a lot of other brands that I'm gonna link in the description, you can check that out. And now on to my own petticoats. This petty is from Taobao and I use it as my longest petty at the moment, and it has a very long waistband, but I usually tuck it in, but it's easy to make this longer with this. I have only one skirt that I use this as its own. Usually I pair it with other ones, for example this one, to make it a more bell shape at the top. This is actually a GLP skirt, Gothic Lolita Punk, but because I don't wear it as it is and it's mostly made of tulle, I use it as a petticoat. I also have these two. This is from Bodyline. This is off-brand and I can't remember where it's from, it's so old. But these I also never use on their own, but I can add as layers. I also have a hoop petticoat, which actually I bought for a floor-length aristocrat dress, but because I used it so seldom, I cut it off, the lowest hoop, and now it's the perfect length. I hope this gave you some information and confidence about buying and wearing petticoats. And remember to be ready to spend some money on them, replace them and layer them, and just find out what's the perfect style for you. Again, I left a bunch of links in the description, and feel free to leave any experiences and comments down below, and I will see you again next time. Bye!